It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. All across America and communist New York City, we are Red Eye Radio. Welcome and good morning.
Have they put checkpoints in yet? Coming in from Jersey?
When are they building the wall? They're going to build a wall, not to keep people from coming in, but from leaving.
That's right.
There's going to be a billion. They have Billionaires Row.
Right.
They're going to put a wall around Billionaires Row. It'd be like instead of Berlin Wall, the Billionaire Wall.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
You're not going to leave.
That's right.
You can't leave.
You're going to have to send in Snake Plissken to get them all out. Yeah.
All right. Before we go anywhere here,
all right.
I want two comments.
Yeah.
From two different people. All right.
Okay.
One.
All right.
One is this. This is my favorite. One of the biggest supporters of Mamdani, Hassan Piker, who's an influencer, gamer, wacko commie is what he is. He's a communist.
Okay.
Here's what he had to say. Interviewed by PBS.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Interviewed. I think it's his. It's his PBS.
All right.
Interviewed by PBS, and they write here that he went full mask off at the Mamdani election victory party, declares it a tragedy that the USA defeated the Soviet Union in the Cold War. AOC embraced him on camera just 2 minutes before he said this.
All right.
So are you ready? Here we go.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Done. What do you think it means that this guy ran as a socialist and anti-communism didn't work to stop him? That's big.
Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately.
The imperial. We are in the middle of the imperial whore.
Wow.
Look, this is just it's if he does what he says he's going to do, it's not going to last too long. It's almost going to be like Lori Lightfoot or Let's Go Brandon in Chicago.
Right.
Look at that. They get elected and
They won. They won their election. They won their elections outright.
And it goes downhill very quickly.
And it goes downhill the moment they start. And I was telling you in the pre-show meeting, all right, great. Look, we knew it. You and I have been saying this since Election Day last year. Democrats are still winning elections. They're still going to keep winning elections.
Yes.
We can't tell you every reason why. We can tell you some reasons. There are a few questions that we have, but they're still winning, and they will win big elections. And I've got a theory. I don't even know how married I am to this theory, but one possibility is that they've looked at it, maybe not the party itself, maybe not the Democratic Party, but a number of the key players look at it. I believe we shouldn't call them the young guns, right? I guess not. Jasmine Crockett, Mamdani, AOC, young guns? No, probably not. But the younger ones that are the loudest voices right now, they are the party. They're at the top of the party. They're the ones everybody knows and or cares about on the left. I believe that they believe it's enough to control the cities. Most of the major cities are blue. To control certain states. And they're good with that. If they don't win the White House, oh, well, it would be great if they did. It would be great if they could get to the Senate and get a majority in the Senate again so they could start packing the courts. They would love to do that and get the House so they could spend like crazy.
Well, no, their goal is the country. They take their victories, but the goal is they cannot the biggest problem he's going to have is spending other people's money who don't live in New York City because that's what he wishes to do.
Yeah.
And I have.
By the way, I agree with you on that.
Oh, I know you do.
The Democrats want all the control because you can't get control of industry without all of control.
Well,
I think
you can't get control of the money,
right?
Because they can't, as we have said over and over again. We look at nationalized health care. Every Democrat state could have state government health care. Why don't they? Because they want other people to pay for it. They don't wish to pay for it themselves. Mamdani said it over and over again. He needs the rest of New York State to support New York City. Otherwise, he can't get anything done. He needs the legislature there in order to do things. So
the clock is ticking on that one, by the way.
This is him jumping. He wishes to be a mayor of New York City, and then probably moved into federal politics. Not president. That's not possible.
Right.
But they look at this as a huge thing. This is huge. Here's a guy who is anti-Semitic, believes in radical Islam. Just 24 years after 9/11, my God, they look at this as a huge, absolutely huge victory. And you heard as we said, the one influencer we just paid, who was one of his biggest supporters, who they had an interview afterwards about it, and he said it's a shame that the USSR is gone.
You know what? A couple of the scary things that happened in recent hours. Jay Jones wins to become the next attorney general in Virginia, and Alvin Bragg wins re-election. Now, Alvin Bragg not so much scary. Maybe scary is not the right word, but the fact that they can win, that someone like Jay Jones can actually win. This is what you and I have been talking about. They still win elections, and look at how radical they are.
When you look at what was it? I saw the one figure. Now, these are all exit polls, but 52% of people voting in Virginia absolutely against the radical transgender movement. Mm-hmm. 1 in 4 of those people voted Democrat. Mm-hmm. Now, this is Virginia, where they're still pushing for it. And that's why this is so important. This is something that we have pounded over and over and over again to Republicans, and Vivek Ramaswamy analyzed what happened. Here we go. This is Ramaswamy.
We got our asses handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all 3. There's 2 key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number 1, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it. And number 2, cut out the identity politics. It doesn't suit Republicans. It's not for us. That's the woke left's game, not ours. We don't care about the color of your skin or your religion. We care about the content of your character. That's who we are.
I'm guessing on that he's talking about, and we haven't even got to it yet, the whole Heritage Foundation, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to tell you that I just look, we have never been a big fan of Tucker Carlson. When everybody on the Republican side adored him, when many of our listeners adored him, we did not. And we told you flat out. And when he started going crazy publicly, just out of his mind, things like, the UFOs. Well, these must be malevolent spirits, out there. Mm-hmm. When he was all over the place in 2020 on the election, whether it was stolen or not, he lost he had lost credibility with us even before that. But if you didn't see these things that he believed and his anti-Semitism adjacent opinions, I don't know how else to put it, which is the whole thing with the Heritage Foundation. That's what Ramaswamy is talking about. We shouldn't even be dealing with the kind of crap in the Republican Party.
Right.
You don't deal with that at all.
Right.
That shouldn't be anything, and most people don't. They don't. I mean, they've been called out. But you look at it. I mean, you look at somebody like Ben Shapiro, who I agree with on the vast majority of things, and even the people that have worked for him. There's question, when you look at, Candace Owen, what the hell happened there? The anti-Semitism there, people now questioning Matt Walsh. And these are all people that were close to him. And so you look at it and look, we've been longtime conservative libertarians for, even when I didn't articulate it on radio, I voted that way. Even if I hadn't articulated like I do now, every single position, it's what I've been my whole life. I haven't changed at all.
Right.
I haven't changed at all. I believe in freedom, liberty. I have no room for any type of racism, anti-Semitism, nothing. Absolutely nothing. We deal, the whole purpose of being a conservative, the whole purpose of of conservative libertarian, of the Bill of Rights, is about the autonomy of the individual, is individualism, which is why the left has had to take those two things and say, well, that's white supremacy, that's white supremacy, that's white privilege kind of mindset, because they can't have that.
Well, and this is the thing, you look at the so-called influencers, and when it looks like somebody's trying to get in good with the influencers for some reason, do some kind of collaboration, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is, because I don't live in that world for a reason. You and I discuss the ideas here on the show. We're here to break down the ideas, analyze what happens day to day in the news, and I don't need to be friends or on team whoever for anybody, even if it's somebody I vote for, but especially if it's somebody who's an influencer or a broadcaster. I just don't. We have friends in the business. That's fine. They do their thing. We do ours. And it's pretty simple. It's a real simple approach that you and I have had.
Well, we're not tribal when it comes to political idolatry of a person.
Right.
We never have been.
Right.
We are people just like the Constitution. We are people of ideas that history has shown has worked, that promotes the individual rights, a constitutional representative government, freedom, liberty, with no room for any type of bigotry or racism at all.
Right.
None.
Right.
It's very simple for us. If you don't hold on to those things and the economic principles of liberty and freedom and free markets, we go after you.
Right.
And people get upset at us at times as if they're defining, what our job is. Our job is what we.
Well,
our job is what I believe my job is. Nobody else defines what my job is or your job. Well, you should need to support this person. I don't need to support diddly squat.
It was weird. You and I would come in some nights, and it's like people are knocking at your door, insisting you be on Team Tucker or Team whoever.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
No.
I don't have anything to do with them, and I certainly don't. I'm not going to tolerate any anti-Semitism or tolerate any tolerance of anti-Semitism, because the idea is you and I know what it's like to sit down and talk to somebody, to have a guest on a show. And we've shut guests down that clearly had an agenda and this, this crazed liberal mindset. We've had a couple of guests where we just, sorry, you got to go. It wasn't anti-Semitism. It wasn't anything like this. It was liberal agenda stuff. And they were slowly creeping in that direction. Sorry, not going to work. Which is likely why we don't have many guests. But we know what it's like to sit down with somebody and what you're going to tolerate, not challenge them when they bring up insane.
Before I ever started this show, I always had problems with guests.
Yeah.
Because I would look at conservative libertarians or people that call themselves Republicans, and I would challenge them where they're not conservative.
Right.
And I'd get complaints all the time. You've got to support everything in the Republican Party.
Nope.
No, I don't.
No.
No, I don't. What do you mean? I don't need to do anything.
Well,
all I care about is I just told you what I care about, and I care about the truth.
the ideas and the truth.
Right. That's all I care about. And so I had problems because what happened to me, and this goes all the way back. This goes back 30 years. When I would interview Republicans, people would get upset, and the Republicans wouldn't. Well, I don't find you. You're attacking me. I go, no, I'm questioning you on it. You're attacking me. And I had Republicans that wouldn't come back on the show.
Right. Well, I think after about a year that you and I were together, it was, I think, around the summer of 2006, heading into the midterm, getting closer to the midterm, I really felt like when at the old building, we went downstairs, there was going to be a mob of angry Republicans because we were criticizing Bush.
Yeah.
George W.
Yeah.
And look, I might vote for you multiple times. But if I disagree with you, there's no way I'm not calling you out.
Yeah. I voted for Trump 3 times. I criticize him all the time.
Yep.
And that's, and there's, it's like, well, no, I had a binary choice.
Yep.
And I voted for and he's done a lot of great things.
Yep.
But as Ramaswamy said with affordability, we've been pounding that for the last year.
Yep.
And we're going to continue to pound it because that's one of the messages that went out yesterday. Republicans have completely ignored affordability since they took power in January.
Yeah.
Affordability has not been even a concern.
Right.
And that's a problem right now, and you've got a year to correct it, and I don't know if it's possible.
I don't know. Yesterday I said on the show, I think I alluded to it, I just have my doubts. I don't know that there's anything they can do.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller. Drivers must always be prepared for a roadside inspection. This means drivers should always have their personal, vehicle, and company credentials organized and ready. The top 2 violations written against drivers every year are log, general form and manner, and log not current. Both are completely avoidable if the driver keeps the log accurate, compliant, and current at all times. Having the vehicle ready for inspection involves the driver conducting daily inspections and making sure any problems that are discovered are immediately corrected. Vehicle readiness also requires the company to make sure that the vehicle is current on all scheduled maintenance and that the maintenance schedule is adequate. This will make sure the driver is being given a sound vehicle to start with. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller & Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We're Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Okay, it's official. You can't come to Texas. You and I, we never mentioned yesterday the ex-post that Governor Abbott put out.
Yeah.
That since Mamdani won, anybody from New York City who attempts to come to Texas, there will be a 100% tariff on.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. Not sure.
And the best thing
But I'm all about that.
Did you see the people that, what the hell's he talking about? You can't put a tariff on people.
I saw articles trying to break it down.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, guys. Come on.
And then someone said that is he joking? Of course he was joking.
We welcome all New Yorkers who pledge to vote Republican only. And you must pledge for life.
Oh, my gosh. I hope it's not retroactive.
Yeah.
I'm in
We're going to check your voting records.
I'm in deep trouble if it's retroactive 25 years.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. Before we get into all the different elections and the bad news and what we believe Republicans need to be focused on, a lot of it is what Ramaswamy said earlier. Let's talk about some of the good news.
All right.
And the good news here is here in the state of Texas. Now, when you look at elections right now, when you look at the inflation we had under Biden and the fact that prices really haven't come down.
Right.
In fact, they've been going up at a 3% rate, but that's on top of everything.
Right.
That's a problem. That's
Right.
why Ramaswamy and we have said over and over again since the Republicans took power in January, focus on affordability.
Yep.
Because it matters. That's the one thing. There is no, the majority of people will never personally experience their daughter having to compete with the man.
Right.
The majority of us will not deal with that. The majority of us, even though we believe identity politics is wrong, we don't live it every day.
Right.
Prices, affordability, you live each and every day. And so we'll get to that here in a little bit, but the personality, the quality and personality of a candidate is extremely important, and affordability. Because when you take the personality, the tribalism, the political parties out of it, here's what you get in the state of Texas. We had yesterday, we had voting here, but in my town, there was nothing local in my town. It was just 17 constitutional amendments.
Same in my town, yeah.
And by the way, this is something that other states should be doing because you and I had this brief discussion before we went on the air on this. That in the state of Texas, what they did was, they got 2/3 of the legislature to vote, hey, we want to put this in the Constitution. And then they went to the people. All 17 of these passed.
Yeah.
Every one of them passed.
Right.
And by
in huge ways.
Huge margins.
Yeah.
When you just put the issue up there and take away the personalities and the parties, this is what you get here. Hang on. What am I looking at here? I want to make sure I got the okay. I want to be able to, here we go. The propositions, because you're going to go, whoa. And this is a state where Trump won last year by 13.7 points over Harris. Mm. And Governor Abbott in 2022 won by 11 points.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And this is a state where the Democrats have been saying for the last decade, we're going to turn it blue, we're going to turn it blue, we're going to turn it blue. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They've talked about that.
Right.
We think that Beavis can turn the state of Texas.
Yeah.
That Beavis O'Rourke, he can change.
I think he's butthead. Yeah.
Oh, is he butthead?
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you for correcting me. See, when we make a mistake on the show, a lot of times the other host will correct the host who got it wrong.
Yeah. That was a legal note. He said note. Mike Judge is going to call me and sue me. Don't sue me, Mike. We love you, man.
All right, here we go. Some of the Proposition 3, bail reform. Big issue, right?
Yeah.
50-50 issue, right? Democrats versus Republicans, supposedly. Proposition 3 in the state of Texas on bail reform required the denial of bail under certain circumstances to persons accused of certain offenses punishable as a felony. Let me just see what the latest is here. on it.
On the results?
Because I'm just, I want to make sure I get it as close as possible. Okay, 62% for, 37% against. That's the latest on that. Landslide numbers. Oh, we're not even close yet. Securities tax ban.
Oh.
Now, this would be Proposition 6, all right, which is this amendment would prevent the state from creating new taxes on securities transactions like stock trading.
Oh.
And that's the closest one, and that's 56 to 42.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Then you get to.
Is that because a lot of people don't have stock?
Well, no, it's viewed as that's what the rich do.
Yeah, well, that's basically
by
was my
Democrats,
point. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. The inheritance tax ban. How long? The Democrats still are talking about the estate tax, right?
Yeah. And by the way, if my kids and grandkids are listening, turn the radio up here. Go ahead.
Here we go.
All right.
Proposition 8 in the state of Texas would prohibit the legislature from imposing death taxes applicable to the property or the transfer of an estate, inheritance, legacy, succession, or gift. All right?
Yeah.
No death taxes in the state of Texas.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Statewide.
Right.
75% to 25%.
There you go.
A 50-point difference.
Mom, did you hear that?
Now, this is one of the most important ones.
Yeah.
School tax exemption for the elderly and disabled owners.
Right. Right. This is a property tax.
Property tax, yes,
Mm-hmm.
to increase the amount of the exemption.
Right.
By a school district of the market value of a resident homestead of the person who is elderly or disabled.
Right.
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 So that's to make it so somebody like me,
Right. Mm-hmm.
elderly, gets more of a tax break on their property.
Very elderly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure it said that in the proposition, but yeah.
80% to 20%. But it's not. You may say, well, that's a pity. That's a pity vote. It's got nothing to do with a person's self-interest because we have a young state here. It might be just, we got to, Gary's old, give him a break.
That's right. Yes. Clearly.
While
they're wearing their Mamdani shirt.
The increased school exemption for homeowners in general.
Right. This is overall
Right.
for everybody.
To increase the amount of the exemption of residential homesteads taxation by a school district from $100,000 to $140,000. That passed, just to show you that there are people that have no sympathy for the elderly like me, but they do for themselves, 81.8% to 18.2%.
Yeah. Big deal. And it's a big deal, too, because you get into small towns, and some of the properties in a small town may not even get to 140,000.
Okay, that's 80. No, I got the latest update. That's now 80.2 to 19.8.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So that's but that's a 60-point difference. Remember now, in a state that Trump won by 13, little over 13.5%.
Right.
And the governor won by 11% a couple of years ago.
This is issues versus personalities.
Right. Yes. Codifying parental rights. Affirming that parents are the primary decision makers for their children. Proposition 15. 70.3% to 29.6%.
That 29.6% is mostly my children. They want to make their own decisions. But again, huge landslide territory.
Landslide territory. Absolute
now,
landslide.
you and I want to talk to these, those who voted, against these issues. I would love to have a conversation with that group.
Now, Proposition 16 clarifying that a voter must be a United States citizen.
This was the proposition when I voted early last week. And I'm the only one in there. By the way, my machine went down. They had to redo my ballot. And I'm the only one in there. But I had already studied the propositions. I already knew where I was on all of them. I was a yes on all of them. And so the guy says, "Oh, that was real fast." I said, "Yeah, I knew the propositions and the whole thing." And this one right here was the proposition. Yes, you should have to be a citizen.
75% yes, 25% no in the state of Texas.
Landslide.
Now, the interesting thing is, I'm guessing that the number of registered voters who voted in this, think about this. This was, I can't believe, because it was on Nextdoor,
yeah,
I couldn't believe how many people had no idea this was going on.
Oh, oh, really?
Yeah. Now,
wow.
61% of Texans of registered voters voted last year in the election.
Right.
I think this will be, I'm doing it in my head, and it's not done yet, between 15 and 20%.
Wow.
So here's an election, to put it in the Constitution.
Yeah.
We are going to drastically lower your property taxes.
Yeah.
And probably less than 20% of people came out to vote for that, yet 61% voted last year in a presidential election. And not that a presidential election doesn't affect you, but nothing affects you. As I have said, wherever I've lived, and I've lived in Florida, and by the way, with all this stuff going on, yes, make Texas Florida. To all our friends here in Florida. But in all the states that I've lived in, nothing has caught my attention more than the state of Texas, than a state realizing they have a problem with property taxes.
Yeah. Right.
No state that I've lived in. Now,
yeah.
I know Florida's heading in that direction.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll save, they want to get rid of property taxes completely.
And there was talk in Austin about that, too. Lawmakers were talking about it. And I think the consensus really was, well, at the very least, where we can start is the elderly and disabled. If you've been, number one, if you've been paying for, let's say, 10, 20 years into the system in property taxes, then we should look at saying, all right, at that point, because what's the biggest concern on property taxes?
That I need more alcohol money for the weekends.
Right. And also more cat money, more toys for the cats. For when you're drinking. Because the cat doesn't drink. The cat doesn't drink because the cat's a mean drunk. But anyways.
The cat stares at me. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
All right, let's play a game with the laser. I got a
Stop
new laser
with the laser,
for you.
Gary. I'm a cat. Grow up, Gary. Anyway, if your cat could talk.
No, it's
that you don't own your property. Because people that, like us, who are against property taxes, look at that and say, wait a minute, you never own your property. There's a lien always on your property. Even if you just paid your taxes, that lien starts, of course, right away because you start incurring those taxes immediately for the next year. You always owe those taxes. Those property taxes are always going to be owed. And so then that's why they started looking at, okay, you got 100% equity in your home, you're 65, and you should be able to get relief from that and actually be able to own your home.
Yeah, I've always thought it's one of the worst taxes.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to insure your property, or you should, and you have to maintain the property. So there's enough cost that goes into a property. But on the property tax, that's been a big deal.
You don't think I ought to take the gamble and not have home insurance?
Why not? Go ahead. Try it. Tell me how that works out for you.
866-90-RED-EYE.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. My point by going through some of the Texas propositions, and there were more that passed, but those are the important ones because it shows that people care about affordability.
Yeah,
you see it by the number of people that went out and voted, or by how the vote ended up, and it's like, whoa, wow, those are landslide numbers. So affordability matters, and the lesson is here that you will have independents that will vote for people with insane ideas if they're not happy with the current affordability that they have.
Right.
That's what Ramaswamy was saying.
Right.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Hello. You know, in the last hour, we were talking about the vote in the state of Texas for the 17 different constitutional amendments. And I just want to just conclude with saying the reason it's such a good idea is the fact that if there was an election today in Texas and there was a Republican who was put into office promoting what was in those 17 constitutional amendments up for vote that all passed today, the ones that dealt with property tax reduction, I forgot, capital gains. I went right by the capital gains.
Right.
Yeah, capital gains also, no capital gains tax also passed big time.
Was that not the one on securities and stock trading?
Was that capital gains or was that a separate one? No, Proposition 2 was banning capital gains taxes. That was
unrealized profits, right?
Yeah, it was 68 point.
Okay, yeah.
68.2 to 31.8.
Right.
I mean, that's
because the Democrats want to do that. Now, we don't have a state income tax
right
at the moment. But here's another thing, too, because a couple of things, these propositions that dealt with state-level taxes in Texas, which, again, aren't in place now, but there is a concern in Austin by the GOP, I think the governor probably shares that, too, that if we get to a point where the school taxes the revenue from the school taxes aren't coming in, you know, and Democrats are going to start screaming, they wouldn't get their way until they had a majority, but start screaming that we need to have an income tax or something else to take place of that, take the place of that revenue that's lost on the exemptions, the increased exemptions. So I don't know how great of a concern that is, but you certainly want to get ahead of it and make it a part of your state constitution so that in the future it can't happen. What was the study that showed we're going to be like 75 million people?
100 million people by 100 million people was that prediction that came out in 75 years.
And is that in just our area or the whole state?
That's the entire state. It would be 35 million
35 in North Texas. Okay,
which is Dallas-Fort Worth and Dallas-Fort Worth and North. we have to say North because it's just not, which would be McKinney, Plano, Allen,
Aubrey, Prosper.
Yeah, exactly. All the
Gainesville.
All the way up there.
Valley View.
Well, again, a state income tax, you would have to change the Constitution in the state of Texas because there is a constitutional amendment against the state income tax. Right. But the beauty of that is it's almost impossible. It would be, do you know what it would take to get 2/3 of the legislature to vote for an income tax or to increase property taxes, and then you have to put it up to a vote of the people, and then the people support it.
See, unlike
that, and that's the point I was trying to make.
Right.
That's
right.
the beauty of it. You sit, and then what that forces the state to do is, okay, we got to find another way to tax, or we've got to cut back.
Yeah, it's, that's what it comes down to. Look at the basis of it, because I did have a buddy of mine saying, yeah, and he lives in a small town. He says, my home's like 175,000. So if we go to 140, I'm only going to be paying taxes on 35. So what happens to the schools? In other words, where's the money come from? I said, well, the school systems have to become more efficient. What we know already is spending more and more money has not improved things.
When you look at the federal government,
right,
we are spending 50% more than we were less than 5 years ago.
Right. And that's, so you look at what Ramaswamy said in the audio cut we played. By the way, we've invited him to be a fill-in host in the event that Dan Mandis cannot fill in. We believe Vivek Ramaswamy would fit right in here at Red Eye, because he was saying exactly what we said. And we've said it a lot. You've been on this. I think we were on this before the election.
We were on it in January.
Last election.
We were on it as soon as they took, and it was the warning we gave to the Trump administration. Yeah. We understand the point that you're making on tariffs.
Well, it's
we understand the point that you're making. We believe he went about it wrong. We believe he should have isolated China and done deals with all the friendly countries.
Right.
But we said the danger is, even if I agreed 100% with you, I'm not going to agree with you, because I'm not going to agree with you that this is a time to do it at that particular level, because you're not going to be able to in the next couple of years. You cannot change, even if it worked. And I don't believe it is working. In fact, it's not. As you see, the manufacturing report out yesterday, again, manufacturing contracted again for the 8th straight month.
Right.
And so you were promising lower prices because of tariffs initially. Lower prices, millions of jobs. And now with what they're back to, then Caroline Levitt was doing again yesterday, saying, don't you understand the tariffs are great because we're going to bring in 400 or 600 billion, which they're not going to reach 600 billion. It's going to be between 400 and 500 billion. That's taxes on American companies. Mm-hmm. And Republicans are promoting that, as we said yesterday. It's insanity. Republicans are promoting that as the wonderful thing, the most wonderful thing, because we're becoming rich, because we're taxing American companies. This is the Republican Party.
And the everyday person is looking at this going, I'm not going to see any of that money.
Well, they're not seeing any of it now. They don't feel any of it now. There is it doesn't matter what you say. Right. And I'll go back to it again from the outlaw Josie Wales. Don't pee on my back and tell me it's raining.
Right.
And so when you sit there and you say everything's going to be wonderful, and you continue, as of yesterday, say it's going to be great because we're taxing American companies. They're not saying that. They're simply saying the tariffs are. When you started out with the lie that foreign countries pay for it, when the United States companies did, and you have to back off on that, and people realize that was a lie, they ask, why did you tell that lie?
Yep.
Why did you say it? And then it became, well, the companies are just eating it up. Well, as we know, the consumer's probably paying about, I've seen the last report the other day, about 40 to 50% of the tariffs are being paid by the consumer, and the companies are eating it up. As we've always stated, if you make things more expensive, even if you have an ultimate goal, but it would take 10 years to change to get to that goal, and you lose elections because of it, to the radicals, what good is it? And we've said that since January and February when you started enacting the tariffs.
Well,
and we're at that point now.
And it's a problem. And when you had the biggest retailers saying, look, we can hold the line for so long. We can adjust only so many things before we start passing it on to the consumer. And part of that effect, a big part of that effect, hasn't been felt yet. And the reason is because nobody knows where this is going to land. And that's outside of the SCOTUS thing, the hearing later today. But even if SCOTUS had decided not to hear it, nobody knows where the administration is going to land, which is something we've been saying.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to do, we said this back in January.
Yeah, whatever you're going to do it
Whatever
now.
you're going to do
and end it.
Do it. Make that the policy so that then companies can adjust and they can invest accordingly. Because everything else is about investment also includes jobs. Are we going to hire people? And you've got another report came out yesterday showing that the number of openings and companies hiring is dropping dramatically. Well, all right, you've got a big problem here, and you're going to politically and effectively, you're going to have to get that solved, and it has to be now. Who was it that was saying that wrote that? It was almost a month ago, I think. That said, it wasn't Roy Teixeira. Who was it? It was somebody that said you've got a problem, and you've got to,
It was three different former advisors to President Trump, and two of them were also former advisors to Trump and J.D. Vance.
Right. And they were saying, this is what you got to do. And then
got to do something on prices.
Ramaswamy.
But the other thing, too, is with Congress. There's been nothing.
No.
On what are our plans to get things more affordable? Nothing.
Well,
you've heard nothing about it. And as we warned before, we said, look, you solve the problem of illegal immigration day one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the reality is, and I don't agree with this part of independents. Independents want the criminals gone. They want, because they put out the poll that, well, the vast majority of Americans want mass deportations as long as they don't have to know about it.
Right. Yeah.
As long as they don't see violence in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what independents are thinking.
Right.
And the Democrats,
again, not that they're right about it.
Not that they're right about it, but I'm talking about the political
effect.
The political reality of what's going. It's the same thing as we talked about, the latest two polls on the national debt. You'd sit there and go, well, look, it's landslide numbers. The American public, they say we've got to be fiscally responsible. And the average American believes we should cut 40% of the federal budget. Well, what would you cut? Foreign aid. Well, what about everything else? No increased spending. The public is delusional.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if the public is delusional, that's also another tough spot for the Republicans.
Well, and
because where do you go?
And that's a problem. Look, coming into this, again, if inflation's at a target rate, that means still prices are going up at a 2%, if they ever hit that target rate, 2% over the massive inflation we saw in recent years. That's your reality coming in. Don't overpromise. Now, people want great affordability. They want prices to come down. Deflation is one of those things that just doesn't come around. In fact, true deflation has only happened one time, and that was during the Great Depression.
Well, remember that you had Trump and therefore the Republican Party. You vote for me, prices start coming down day one.
Exactly. The promises, which is what I was getting to. Thank you.
They made that promise.
You don't have to make that political promise. What you need to say is, what we're going to do is get the economy churning to increase your buying power. It's not going to, the prices, what we're hoping, and of course then when you get into trade and everything else and tariffs and everything else, that's an effect on pricing. And I don't believe we've fully seen that yet. In fact, I know we haven't. So that's what 26 looks like. What happened in Virginia, what happened in Jersey, what happened in New York City, that's just part of it. The other stuff is yours, GOP.
As Vivek Ramaswamy said, we got this audio cut we want to play here.
Yeah.
We have this audio cut that we want to play. Thanks. Okay, here we go.
We got our asses handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's two key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number one, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it. And number two, cut out the identity politics. It doesn't suit Republicans. It's not for us. That's the woke left's game, not ours. We don't care about the color of your skin or your religion. We care about the content of your character. That's who we are.
Yep.
And when we've talked about affordability, we've got pushback over the last 9 months from our own listeners. For some reason, we know the Democrats are completely delusional on economics, but a significant portion of Republicans, or the populist Republicans, whatever you call them, are completely delusional about how economics works and don't seem to care about it. They seem to believe that government, if it's their government, can effectively grab capital and run an economy.
And the answer is no, they can't.
No, they can't.
They can get out of the way, which is what they need to do.
And that's why we have said
policy. They need to promote policy that gets the government out of the way. By the way, on other fronts, deregulation and all this other stuff, you've made these moves over here.
Oh, I agree with what the Trump has done there. Tremendous stuff he's
huge.
done. Right. Doesn't affect prices.
Nope. It's part of the underlying base, but it's not the real deal. You're going to have to get down to it. I don't know what happens between now and the start of the midterm season, and that's just, well, it's less than 2 months away.
Yeah. We are Red Eye Radio.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Power goes out at your residence, whether from a faulty power line or natural disaster. What food safety considerations should you keep in mind? USDA food safety expert Meredith Carruthers says in the event of a power outage,
usually we say on average a refrigerator that has no power is going to keep a safe temperature for about 4 hours.
That safe temperature being below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. As for the freezer,
it's going to maintain that cold temperature and keep that food at a safe temperature for about 24 hours if it's half full and 48 hours if it's full.
Once these appliances reach past their safe temperature point, discard any perishable food items. Food safety resources are available through USDA's Meat and Poultry Hotline, 1-888-MP Hotline. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Oh, we got just a ton of audio to play. I want to play this first one just because it was pretty humorous. This is a discussion they were having at the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro and his crew. This is before the results came in, though.
Okay.
And they were talking about Mamdani.
Mamdani?
Now I have problems saying it. That's what it is. It's psychological.
It is.
He's won.
We don't want to say it.
And now I don't want to pronounce his name right.
But, here soon we're going to have to say Mayor Mamdani.
Here we go.
All right.
If he wins, it will be really a great referendum on third grade running for class president politics, because the way we all ran for class president in third grade, for those of us who ran for class president and maybe didn't win in third grade, was the free ice cream platform.
But Trump kind of ran that way as well. I mean, that's just a new way.
He literally went to
American
McDonald's and was giving out fries and burgers.
But did the burgers arrive?
And that was
They
smart,
did.
by the way.
On time, hot and fresh. Let me tell you. And he was great with he looked very comfortable in that.
He did.
But Mamdani is promising like free buses, transgender surgeries for cats, like everything you possibly want. Like
That's what got to me. The transgender surgeries for cats.
That's going to be expensive, by the way.
Well, after the show, I'm going to go home and talk to Tiki about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what they say. I'm trying to be accurate.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And, you know, it's who's going to pay for the free ice cream.
Well, that's it.
That's what it comes
It's
down
a
to.
young guy out there promising all the young people free stuff.
Right.
And all the young people are living at home still going, Mom, we're going to get free stuff.
Catch Red Eye Radio live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when and where you choose. Audio coming up in just a moment. But, you know, I was just thinking how long that I'm trying to think of, and I don't go back to when I was like 5 years old and the Nixon-Kennedy debate when apparently I watched it. My mother always, and I have faint memories of that moment. But my mother asked me, well, who do you think won the debate? And I said, that guy. And I pointed to Nixon. Well, clearly he didn't win that debate. And then my parents said we laughed. And they said, well, at that point we realized that you had a long career coming up in political analysis. but what I was thinking of with how you have young people responding to Mamdani, and all over the last couple of months, all the different people that were interviewed and explaining why they were going to vote for him, and none of it made sense.
Yeah.
You know, there weren't any type of specifics. They were all just generalities.
Right, yeah.
And I go back, and it was 72, so it would have been in the summer of 72. So when you know the campaign was going on, the election wasn't held yet. And I remember I would have been a junior in high school. And I remember there were a bunch of us, and we were across the street at our neighbor's house. And my neighbor came out real strong for McGovern. And I remember, for some reason, saying, well, you know, I don't like McGovern. And as I look back on that today, being a 17-year-old, we were arguing with complete ignorance. Both of us were, because I knew nothing about the thing. It was that you were looking at just the imagery and sound bites that you might have heard.
Yeah.
But we really didn't know anything about them. We really did at that time. We didn't really pay attention when we were in high school to that. And I go back and I think that's still a lot of what is going on today. Ignorance is bliss. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
People get incredible satisfaction out of adopting a slogan or a imagery or something like this. And it shows you that we are extremely, as human beings, extremely complicated life forces that can have this incredible intelligence and critical thinking skills that constantly amaze me. And then we can have ignorance that is on the opposite end that is just as impressive for the stupidity that it brings out in people.
Well, it's, you know, I mean, in the same year, think about this, the voters in New York City voted to usher in communism in New York City. And the people of the United States, on the other side, fought when they were told TikTok was going to go away. Look at the things they fight for.
Yeah.
It's weird. And I think to myself, because, and I can make the comparison because social media is not real. I mean, you know, for people who create content and it's their business. I get that bottom line thing. But for the average user, you're just scrolling through videos quickly, and people were upset. It became a thing. And then New York City. Oh, we'll promise you the world. And you know they can't deliver that, right? Yeah, but we'll do it anyway.
Well, it all started out where first, and I want to explain something because somebody had a question on it the other day. Mamdani first started out by saying we're going to raise the taxes in New York City.
Right.
Then he found out, okay, you're going to have to still go to the state legislature for that if you're going to raise it in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they said, Matt, but you're not going to be, they're really not going to cooperate with you, and you're still not going to get the money that you want just from the billionaires there.
Right.
Because they'll leave. And that's where it went then. Well, then we want the legislature to raise the corporate tax rate across New York State in order to pay for it.
Right.
That suggestion came out.
Right.
And so the money isn't going to be there. People are going to leave. Now I see, 100,000, 1 million. I have no idea what it's going to be. It's very hard for most people to move, but it's not hard for rich people to move.
Well, which is the point we've made.
Yes.
The ones who you say you're going after are the ones who can more easily pick up and leave.
Right. But what it is, everything from the shutdown to the Marxism that you see in New York City is all about the fact that we're going to give you everything and somebody else is going to pay for it. And I do, I'll play it a little bit later on. I want to play the representative who said, no, we need to raise taxes across the United States, not just in these particular states.
Right.
We made the entire point we've said. The whole shutdown on health care, and we'll say it over and over again because not one Democrat can argue with it. Because why? I hate that I'm going to say this. Because we've got the receipts. God, I hate that term. I don't know why I hate that term, but I hate it. For
you know what the new one is?
What?
Dialed in. Oh, man, I got it dialed in. Everybody's using dialed in right now. It's driving me crazy.
Well, that's sort of 6'7".
The other day I dialed in to YouTube, and everybody on YouTube was saying.
Isn't that sort of 6'7"?
6'7".
Did you see that's the
Oh, yeah.
The best part was,
are you kidding me?
That's the word of the year. They go, it's numbers.
Yeah, it's numbers.
Yeah, but if it's spelled out, it's words.
Yeah.
All right, let's have an argument over that. Let's see if it matches the TikTok debate.
Right.
But the entire
I promise 6'7" in every household. What does that even mean? We don't know, but we're voting for him. We have no idea.
It was interesting seeing people trying to explain it. Well, it actually means nothing. It means like whatever.
Right. Some kids caught on camera, doing this weird thing, and it becomes this GIF that everybody is using. And then now it's, I think the Wall Street Journal wrote about it. They can't even control it in classrooms. If a teacher, like a math teacher, says 6, 7, 6, and the whole class just goes 6, 7, and, the top of their lungs. Nobody knows what it means. But you can win the mayoral race in New York City if you just promise 6, 7 in every household.
Well, that to cut through, as we said earlier in the week, to cut through all the crap. The shutdown is about, actually we said this last week, the shutdown is about the fact that California had the opportunity to have statewide health care. Colorado had the opportunity. Vermont had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Every one of them liberal. Every one of them wanting it. Every one of them proposing it. Well, why was it defeated? If it's so great, why was it defeated? Because liberals didn't want to pay for their own health care. So they want to go to the national level where they can borrow money from future generations to do it. And as I've said over and over again, we haven't said this in a while, except on this topic recently, tell us where we're wrong.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay. They want their children, their great-grandchildren, their grandchildren. They want them to pay for it. All right, let's get to some Mamdani audio from last night.
All right, okay.
And even Van Jones said he was quite angry. He was quite angry. Here we go.
All right.
After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this.
There you go, and let's continue here. Let me see, what do I have here? Okay, here we go.
Together, we will usher in a generation of change. And if we embrace this brave new course, rather than fleeing from it, we can respond to oligarchy and authoritarianism with the strength it fears, not the appeasement it craves. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
There you go.
Because socialism has had no oligarchs, to be clear.
Well, I mean, as it was pointed out, be quiet about the Soros oligarchy.
Yeah.
It's a picture of Soros.
Exactly.
You know, Soros' son who is taken over, embracing him. It's like, well, no, you actually have more huge oligarchs that support you.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Right. Exactly.
And then he went on to say that New York will remain a city of immigrants, city built, and he meant illegal immigrants. City of immigrants, built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, as tonight led by an immigrant. But they're talking illegal immigrant because there is no debate about legal immigrants in this country.
Yeah.
There is no debate.
No, there isn't.
There's no debate on legal immigrants.
No.
None.
No, it's in fact, in part, I think to a large extent, why Donald Trump was able to close the border in a matter of a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. So what the Marxist is talking about in New York City is illegal immigrants.
Right.
And by the way, this is the same old, same old. We've been here, done this
Well,
before.
he says brave new course.
Yeah,
you heard him say brave new course, and I was thinking, it's not new.
No, we've been here, done. There are no new ideas he's coming up with. None.
Yeah.
You know, and if you really want, you know, as I said yesterday, the Green New Deal, I don't know what he's going to propose yet, but on a national level, the Green New Deal was as communist as anything that has been proposed in modern American politics. And so, but his anger of the speech, you had, let me see if I can find it first. Well, we'll first go to Scott Jennings. Okay, here we go.
All right.
All right, I'm playing an audio cut here. Here we go.
Yeah, it's up. Yep.
Scott? Oh. Are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago? Axe, where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this. I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them. I work here. So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote. No problem too large for government to solve.
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech. And he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed. And he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
Well, as we know, reminds us of, I don't know, a couple of guys overnight that have been talking about that for years.
Yep.
This is why there's not a change. The only change is he's calling himself a socialist.
Yeah.
The things that he has proposed has already been proposed by the Democratic Party. There are no new socialist Marxist ideas that he is promoting. The Green New Deal that the Democratic Party embraced back in 2018, 2019 was as socialist, Marxist, communist as anything out there.
Yep. It's nothing new.
So there's nothing new here. This is what I love. It's like a new generation. Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
A new generation.
A brave new path. It's not brave and it's not new.
You're walking through the same Marxist manure. We are Red Eye Radio.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We're Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. One of the best post-election analysis that I heard.
Yeah.
And it was from a Democrat. It was on X. And it was, I just can't remember who it was. I've been through so much since, I woke up at 7:30, and normally I sleep till 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I couldn't get back to sleep.
I didn't sleep in the evening at all. I never went to sleep in the evening.
I slept 5:30 to 7:30. I went to bed a little bit earlier, but I was like, I can't. But it was like, maybe running Cuomo as the candidate against him was not the best idea.
Where have you heard that before? I mean, probably not just our show, but we've said that too. But yeah. The other choice is Cuomo? That Cuomo? Oh, okay.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.